All right, the time has come. We've planned, we've plotted, we've spent countless years preparing for this moment, the creation of our first website. The first thing to do is to set up the basics of our file structure, specifically the main directory and subdirectories for our site. First, create the folder we'll be using to contain the site files. Then, within that folder, create the other subdirectories we'll need for our site. First, the album subdirectory. Next, the subdirectory for our image files. Then, the subdirectory for our video files. Creating these folders in advance means that right from the start, our site will be organized. Now, let's create our site template based on the planning we made earlier. Building our template now and using that template to create each page of our site will keep all of these elements consistent. We'll be showing you how to actually assemble your site template using a number of different applications. But for right now, let's just transition from our sketch template to the HTML template in action. We'll use an HTML table to establish the layout of the page, with cells for our icon, our headline text, our navigation bar, our main content, and our footer. Once we've inserted these elements, we'll have put together the pieces that will be consistent from page to page of our site. At this point, we need to insert the elements of our template. Let's start with our header. We already know what our headline text will read and what our icon will look like. We have the option of combining these things into one image, but for our example, we'll keep them separate. So, we type in our headline text into the upper right-hand cell, formatting it with the text editing tools of our application of choice. Now, let's move on to our icon. Once we've figured out what kind of image we want to use as our icon, use our preferred graphics making program, such as Adobe Photoshop or OpenView, to modify this graphic. For our example, we'll use a picture of the student who created this portfolio and size it so that it's big enough to be noticed, but not so big that it overwhelms the entire site. The best thing to do is to use an original image, one that's unique to you. Something around 200 by 200 pixels wide should work fine. Once we're done, we save the image in a web-safe graphics format, such as a GIF, a JPEG, or a PNG graphic, in our Images folder. Then, we return to our web design application and insert the image into the top left-hand cell. The next element we need to set up in our site template is our navigation bar. Use the application's link insertion tool to create each link of our navigation bar based on our previous planning. We will need to create links to index.html, movies.html, resume.html, photos.html, and our email address. When making the navigation bar, make sure to confirm that the link addresses are accurate. This will ensure that every page will have working links to the other pages. The footer of our page is the last element we need to create. Insert the necessary text in the bottom cell of your site. In our case, that text is the copyright notice and a link to our email address. We'll also want to make the email link at the foot of the page an active link using the link insertion tool of the web application. By using the mail to prefix, we tell the user's web browser that the link is an email address, which will cause the browser to automatically start the user's default email program. Now, our template is ready, which means that we can start assembling the individual pages of our site. We're really on a roll.